Good evening. Good evening. Today, October 29th, 2025, this is recording 907, and the title is Dominion, Basileia. We'll get to that second word a little bit later, but that's the title, Dominion, Basileia. Dominion. Just what is dominion? Well, in practical terms, if we look at how we go about doing anything, we have to learn the rules of engagement, so to speak, whether it's sports, whether it's doing a job, whether it's planting a garden, whether it's building a house, whatever. And then we learn those rules. And as we learn those rules, we gain what is called practical dominion. The tools are under our command, whether they be mental, whether they be physical, whatever the case may be. And we can see the finished product within our mind scope. So we know what the end result is supposed to look like, and it gives us dominion. With that said, every man desires freedom. Freedom. Every man. That word freedom can also be translated as dominion. Now, practically speaking, we're still here. Freedom to live a life that shows forth liberty, happiness, and harmony. If a person could exercise the ability to be very comfortable in life, he would be satisfied. He would have what we call practical dominion. You don't have to be a millionaire to have dominion. You only need to know that every material aspect of life is covered. Now I say material. Why didn't I say physical, as in the body? Because that's one thing that escapes man's dominion. It matters not how much money he has. He can be a billionaire and still stumble, bumble, fall, prey to something that medical science doesn't have the cure for. So a person of practical means would be satisfied to be able to eat, drink, and be merry, so to speak. They would be satisfied. That would give them dominion. Well, the Holy Scriptures record the Master Jesus Christ as stating that there is a sovereign right granted to every man to exercise dominion, this ability. Wait a minute. I go back and rethink what I just said. A sovereign right. Sovereign now encompasses what? The spiritual aspect or the physical aspects of life. So Jesus Christ tells us that every man has been granted this sovereign ability to exercise dominion, freedom, liberty. In fact, not only did Jesus make this statement, it is recorded that the Father of Jesus, the Father of all creation, has made it his pleasure to give all creation this sovereign right. All that the kingdom of heaven encompasses, he has given to every person that can believe, and he said that it is his delight, his pleasure. Immediately what comes to mind to me is The scripture that says, come ye and sit at the table, purchase without money. Come and eat. Come eat to your fill. So that right there tells us that this sovereign ability, this sovereign right, is free. And yet we look at people who have put forth the effort over material situations such as building houses, driving cars, you get the point, or even social situations where they are able to entertain or go to entertaining events and be satisfied. They know how to act. When someone says come to an after 7 event, they know how to dress. When someone says come to a casual event, they know how to dress. They know how to sit. So we know now that a person is willing to exercise dominion in the things of this world until they understand how these things work. And yet, we find those same people in total chaos as to how to live the spiritual life, how to live the sovereign right that has been granted unto them. Get that now. They need not go to someone to find out how to live this life. It is their sovereign right to exercise without the need of someone watching over them, supervising how they live. It is the Father's good pleasure to give to them that believe everything that the kingdom of heaven encompasses, and to be able to live in freedom and comfort. And yet, look at your friends. Look at your neighbors. Look at people that you just run into in the stores. You run into at events. Listen at their conversation. Every one of them is what? Confused and in chaos, because that freedom that they desire has seemed to elude them. It has eluded them. And in the course of the conversation, listen, they're always talking about, number one, what? Money. And number 2, health. Those are the 2 major things that you're going to run into no matter where you go, even if the people do not know you. And it's up to you to recognize this, because what? Every man is seeking freedom and liberty, and in some cases, dominion. A lot of people have misconstrued or misinterpreted this word dominion because they will allow their thoughts and exercises to bleed over into other people's areas to gain this dominion. Oh, they will apologize when it's over with and say how sorry they are. I'm really sorry that happened to you, but they're not willing to give it back. See how the misinterpreted word dominion kind of runs rampant in our lives? It bleeds chaos because we're always looking out for number 1. And yet, God has said, I have given you a sovereign right, dominion, to exercise your life without hurt, harm, or endangerment to any other person. The kingdom, God said, you only need to locate. That is the one thing that many have failed to do. Why? Because they have gone to a place of teaching that tells them that although this kingdom is within them, they just lightly glaze over that. They tell you that it is something that comes in the future. Look at the confusion right there. Look at the chaos. Jesus says the kingdom of heaven is within you. God said it is his pleasure to give you every access to it. Jesus said you must bring it forth. Bring it forth from within you, and it will be everything that satisfies. And yet we find people who love God, who are sincerely trying to serve God, walking around in chaos. And guess what? 9.99999 times out of 10, it's because of the lack of teaching. Lack of teaching. Before we go on, I'm just going to say this. As we execute dominion over all of the other areas that we can put forth, intellectual understanding, physical exercise, we gain somewhat dominion over that process. And yet, we have not gained the process over something that has been freely given, something that is freely deposited, something that is awaiting recognition. We have not gained that. So we continue to seek after something that is located where? You get it. Within us already. The kingdom, as I said before, he stated, is within every person. It is there whether one brings it forth or not. In the in the Gospel of Thomas, Jesus said the kingdom of heaven is within you. If you bring it forth, it will save you. If you are unable to bring it forth, it will destroy you. One thing I find that's really, really important is the very first saying in the Gospel of Thomas. He who understands these sayings shall not taste of death. The only way to not taste of death, because in 2 Timothy it is said that Jesus Christ abolished death. In Hebrews chapter 2, it is stated that Jesus, loving his brothers, clothed himself with the same type of brothers and entered into death to destroy him who had the power of death, that is, the devil. In another gospel, it is said that Jesus Christ made an open display of humiliation for the kingdom of captivity, which would be what? The kingdom of what we call death, hell, and the grave. Said he destroyed the kingdom of him who had control of these things, which is the devil. And yet we still walk around in confusion. Once again, why? It's the teaching. For if the teaching focuses on finding and exercising this dominion, Jesus said, nothing shall by any means come to harm you. I think you see your responsibility, my responsibility. It is what? Seek and keep on seeking. Knock and keep on knocking. And let's see, ask and keep on asking. For he who asks, it shall be given. He who seeks finds, and he who knocks, what? The door shall be opened. So then the opening of the door is a persistent perseverance in seeking the kingdom, not outside of yourself, but within. To bring forth this kingdom would constitute the greatest accomplishment of mankind, and to not bring it forth would be the worst blunder that a man could commit. There is no need to seek outside oneself. It is not necessary, for there it cannot be found. Can I back that up? Yes, I can. Should they come unto you, said the master, and say, the kingdom is over here, or lo, it's over there, what did he say? Do not go, for the kingdom of heaven is within. So now we know that all of our seeking, I hope you're getting this, all of our seeking is done where? Within us. And there is no one that can teach you how to find it within you the way that we're being taught. We must pour our heart into knowing that the kingdom is there, and we ask the kingdom to reveal itself because it is the Father's good pleasure to reveal it. So we keep our mind focused, stayed on him, and the kingdom must be revealed. So then we ask ourselves, what is this kingdom of dominion? Well, the word kingdom used in the scriptures is a Greek word. This Greek word means, I hope you got your ears on, reign, R-E-I-G-N, royal power, authority, dominion, sovereignty. This word is Basileia. Remember I said it a little earlier? Basileia. It's spelled B-A-S-I-L-E-I-A. B-A-S-I-L-E-I-A. Basileia. It is a Greek word. Reign. I hope you're listening. Royal power, authority, dominion, sovereignty. You mean that's already with it? Yeah, already granted. You are a royal authority, a royal power. You have the ability to reign over all of the situations in the world, and you are sovereign because of God making you sovereign, and you have dominion. Oh my goodness. This ability to exercise a sovereign right has been granted by the only sovereign power throughout the universe. Throughout the universe. God. Now let's just switch over to Aramaic, because this is the language that Jesus spoke. In the Aramaic tongue, the word used there for dominion is called Melkest. M-A-L-K-E-S-T. Melkest, meaning to exercise one's sovereign power. So whether you want to use Greek or Aramaic, think about it. You're covered either way. Melkest. Now that we see that he did so, this is the way that Jesus exercised his granted power, we also recognize that he granted this ability to whoever finds it within themselves to be soulish matter. In other words, you mean God told me? You mean God gave me? You mean God expressed as me? You mean God put with? Yes. This is your ability to rule and reign in this dimension. Now we understand how thy will be done in heaven thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. See, the decree is made in heaven in the soulish realm, and it is brought to visible expression in the earthly realm. You need to understand that. In other words, whatsoever you understand to be real in your consciousness, which is heaven or the soulish realm, will be expressed visibly. Whether that visible expression is just an understanding or whether it is a physical expression, you see where it comes from. Your recognition, your understanding that you have dominion. In other words, stop trying to pray to get something to happen and then look to see if it happens, and express, I have dominion. I have the sovereign right to what? To look within the soulish realm, which is heaven, and see my dominion. I think you're seeing it now. To see my ability to express above anything that would come to say, I don't have this right. I must first see it first in the soulish realm. And as I nourish it in the soulish realm, at some point in time, I'm going to get a click. We're going to get into this in a couple of weeks down the road, like the lady with the issue of blood. I'm going to get a click. And that click is going to express outwardly. In Genesis, we see the Father granting this authority not just to Jesus Christ, but to all of mankind. Let us create man in our image and in our likeness, and let him have dominion over the works of my hands. Blessed are the eyes, or I should say, blessed is the eye that can behold such a wonderful gift. Why did I say blessed is the eye? Because he said, if thine eye be single. Now you can see how I must bring that dominion down to the exercise of a law that God has granted, and I keep my vision single to that vision. Because this world that my two eyes looks at is always trying to tell me that this is not so. Also in Revelation chapter 1, it says, blessed is he who reads and understands. I tell you all the time, the book of Revelation is a blessing. It is not a warning that is coming to tell you that God is going to blot you off the face of the earth if you don't do this, you don't do that. No, it's the way to your dominion. He said, blessed who reads and understands. And Thomas, I quoted a while ago. Number one, blessed is he who reads and understands, for he shall never taste death. This is our redemption from a law deemed to curse mankind with unthinkable suffering. Remember, God is not trying to force you to love him. Get it? You ever had somebody try to force you to do things that they say are loving and kind? Force? No. God so loved that he gave what? He gave the end of suffering. How did he give the end of suffering? He sent forth the only begotten, the Christ, to awaken us to the love that he has for us. For he who learns the love of God shall be set free from the laws of suffering. I give unto you power to tread over all the power of the enemy. This is Jesus. Why in the world is he giving you power to tread over all of the power of the enemy and then stand you in a judgment after death and tell you whether or not you can go to heaven or not? It's the teaching. It's the teaching. I know there's nothing wrong with people assembling together, but we should be assembling together in truth and righteousness. That's going to be another one of mine down the road. Blessed is he who hungers and thirsts for righteousness. Uh-oh. You mean, you're right. Lord, put money in the bank. Lord, raise my Social Security. Lord, let me hit the lottery. Lord, let me make a... No. He said, blessed is he who hungers and thirsts for righteousness' sake, for they shall be filled. It is very important that you understand what that word righteousness means. It does not mean just walking on this earth and being a good person. God is the righteous one. They that hunger and thirst for righteousness shall be saved. I give unto you power to tread over all the power of the enemy. I translate you into the kingdom or sovereign authority of my dear son. Isn't there a scripture that says, for he has translated us into the kingdom of his dear son? He has translated us out of darkness. That word darkness means ignorance, unknowing, chaos. He has brought to bear within our conscious awareness the ability to know and to understand. To do that would place us in the kingdom of his dear son. This axiom is by far the truth by which all truth is established. Believe thou this? That's what he said. Believest that I am come? Believe that I am come to give unto you freedom? Yes. Then walk in this liberty. This is the liberty that sets all men free. The same attention that you use to learn anything in this material world, you keep at it and keep at it and keep at it until you have it as a part of your being. He's saying, nourish this truth. I am the resurrection and the life. I recognize my sovereign ability to walk as the Son of God. I have dominion over the works of God's hands. I am the dominion. Nourish that until it becomes your reality. In the book of Jeremiah, Isaiah, Kings, and others, it is written that power over nations and kings would be granted to whomever would find this great gift. Now, please tell me, what nations are you going to have power over if you go to this place called heaven that is four square and you think about it. Think about it. I grant you power over nations and kings. Those things are here in the earth. And he grants it to whomever finds this great gift. Did he not grant it to Jesus? To the point where Jesus said what? Didn't he say all power and authority in heaven and earth has been granted unto me? Now you go. He said, go practice this. Go practice what you heard me say. Go practice what you saw me do. Now, this is not that, we're going to take over rulership of the world's kingdoms. That's not what he meant. He meant that the exercise of these truths would implement within your life the ability to be unaffected by the things of the world that would default you, that would defect you, that would affect you negatively. That's what he's saying. You would look at these things, and in the righteous understanding of who you are, they would have no effect. The book of Thomas, once again, finds Jesus stating that he who finds this gift within and brings it forth shall be blessed in all of his deeds. In another one of the sayings, he says, as within, so without. What does that mean? As I agree. See? as I agree. One of the interpretations, spiritual interpretations of Noah and the ark. Remember how the animals went in? How did they go in? That's right. 2 by 2, male and female. See, male and female are required. These are required to bring to pass your prayer requests. In the book of Thomas, it says, when the two make peace in the house. That's right. When the male and the female make peace in the house. The house is not your four walls with the A-frame. The house is your conscious awareness that you are in total agreement with whatever you have imagined to be real. That thing is going to express itself in the house. One thing I should say here right before we close. You always express the end of your prayer in the house before it shows up out here in the material realm or the visible realm. I'm going to say that again. If you go to bed worried, you're going to express that worry. Get it? If you go to bed expressing your sovereign right to the kingdom, you are going to express that sovereignty when you awaken. But you must nourish it. The two must make peace in your house. And your house is your conscious awareness of who you are. If you didn't know it, you need to know it now. You decide what is being expressed as your world. Why? Because God has made you, created you in his image and likeness, and given you sovereign ability to do so. If a person brings this forth, he shall be blessed in all his deeds. How are you blessed on your job, in your house, paying bills and whatnot? Because you have dominion over your funds, you have dominion over your thoughts, you have dominion over your exercises on the job. You bring forth the reality and the harmony of that because of your learned dominion. You do the same in the house of God by understanding that where the Spirit of the Lord is, yep, there you get it, and you exercise that. To think a belief would have this much power to transform one's life and influence the lives of others and have positive affluence in the world of men's actions. Just to think, you having the ability to think a thought that's going to transform your life, influence the lives of others, have positive affluence in the world of men. Whew. Who wouldn't give their life for that? See, except the kernel of corn fall to the earth and die. That's what that means. Stop thinking of the chaos that you're in right now and begin to think of the authority that's been granted to you to just believe with all thy heart, soul, and mind. This is the great power that has been invested in us. Behold, there that word is, behold, I give you power over all the enemy. That means I should not be afraid of anything. Why? Because of Basileia. Whoa. Yeah, but what if it looks scary? Basileia. Say that word. Understand what it means. When you go to bed at night, Basileia. Rehearse it. When you awaken in the morning, Basileia. As you go through the day, Basileia. Keep that word foremost. Basileia. I have been given power over all the enemy. I no longer have to think of script or purse, but believe only in and on him whom God has sent. For unto me is given all power and dominion. Basileia.